In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? Ready among us? Ready among us?
That was 1955, October. I was 3 or 4 months old. And they already had this plan for a false flag or a false INW threat from outer space. Yes. The only way we can live together in peace is that if we're at war with someone else. I mean, this is, of course, batshit crazy, but we have something here that is what is called an acculturation process, where over many decades there have been leaders that have been convinced that we have a threat and that the solution to that threat or incursion from other civilizations is to militarize the relationship. Now, interestingly, the same people who benefit from, say, hoaxing the Gulf of Tonkin event in Vietnam, which stampeded President Johnson into escalating Vietnam into the quagmire it became, that cost trillions of dollars and hundreds of millions of lives, if you count Vietnamese and Southeast Asians as living humans, which they are, or the famous weapons of mass destruction that Saddam Hussein had, which were to justify us going into Iraq, which gave us ISIS. It's all hoaxed. And so you have people who are continuously creating hoax scenarios. And these are concocted in their research projects all the time, and they're put on a storyboard years, sometimes decades in advance. And the big one is the alien invasion one. And so through the UFO subculture, Hollywood, the media, and the internet, there has been a very well-funded and clever disinformation and counterintelligence operation that was launched in the 50s to convince people of what you just heard General Douglas MacArthur and Ronald Reagan decades later say was necessary. So then the question, you have to then take everything you've ever read and everything you've ever seen and go, was it real or was it Memorex, as they used to say in the commercials? Is it real or was it something that was made up for its psychological warfare value? And I'm quoting from a CIA document from 1953. To what extent have we been deceived?
Welcome to Earth.
So you're looking at it through this weird infrared video where it doesn't necessarily look, it's weird. It's weird. You're looking at it, you're like, okay, what am I looking at? I'm looking at a little object.
Do you remember that quote? It could be a total bullshit quote from Wernher von Braun that he said right before he died that beware of the fake alien invasion.
When I was a corporate manager of Fairchild Industries in 1974 through 77, I met the late Dr. Wernher von Braun in early 74. At that time, von Braun was dying of cancer, but he assured me that he would live a few more years in order to tell me about the game that was being played, that game being the effort to weaponize space, to control the Earth from space and space itself. Von Braun's purpose in life during the last years of his life, his dying years, was to educate the public and decision makers about why space-based weapons are a dumb, dangerous, destabilizing, too costly, unnecessary, unworkable, undesirable idea. The strategy that Werner von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in '74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. We were told that they had killer satellites. We were told that they were coming to get us and control us, the dirty commies, that whole story. First, the Russians were the enemy against whom we're going to build space-based weapons. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern. But he said that would be the third enemy against whom we would be needing to build space-based weapons. And the next enemy was asteroids. Now at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids, against asteroids we're going to build space-based weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie.
The U.S. Navy has finally acknowledged that videos appearing to show UFOs flying through the air are real. They don't call them UFOs. They call them unidentified aerial phenomena. The several videos they're talking about were recorded years ago by fighter pilots. Then in 2017, they were made public by the New York Times. More now from our Randy Kay.
Look at this thing. It's rotating.
Images of that rotating thing captured by U.S. Navy aircraft. Sensors locking in on the target. Commander David Fravor saw it firsthand during a training mission, describing it like a 40-foot-long tic-tac, maneuvering rapidly and changing direction. The Navy says it still doesn't know what the objects are, and officials aren't speculating. A Navy spokesman simply confirming to CNN the objects seen in the various clips are unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs.
Okay, yeah. So again, there's like this whole thing is big hole, loud noises. Looks like it's giving off a lot of light as well, a lot of brightness. I can see it like reflecting in the background of everything else. So just like rays of like light back here too. All that big popping noise. Okay, so after this like thing kind of basically explodes right here, I can feel that all these structures, they feel like they're like breaking down and being destroyed. So now I've got like holes in my structures and stuff, you know, like broken structures everywhere. And then I also sense that there's this like non-surface structure kind of hidden like in the clouds almost. So there's just like one non-surface structure right here. So I've got this non-surface structure here in the sky, and it seems to move like super fast. Like it's like it comes out of nowhere, and it just comes, and then as soon as it's there, you know, it's like this whole big explosion kind of happens. So it seems like there's subjects here, but like a lot of them are like not here, like missing, or they've kind of like left already, you know, but there's still subjects that kind of hang around. And when I do like a deep mind probe of these subjects, they feel very devastated. They feel like there's not really much more they can do for themselves. They do feel very defeated and like almost empty shells of people. They almost feel like they're not really like there consciously.